Imagine this, a conversation right here on Earth with a species so different, it might actually hold the key to talking with aliens across the galaxy. That's not sci-fi. It's the really fascinating work of the whale SETI team. You know, folks from the SETI Institute, UC Davis, the Alaska Whale Foundation, studying humpback whales to help us search for life out there. Welcome to the deep dive.
And today, we're diving into how these incredible animals, their communication, it's giving us some pretty surprising insights for SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Well, connected to the famous Drake equation, too.
Exactly. That whole framework for thinking about, well, how many talkative civilizations might be out there in the Milky Way?
Okay, so our sources... So the mission today, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
What can talking to a whale really teach us about talking to ET?
It sounds a bit out there, I know, but the links are, well, they're more direct than you might think. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, these observations. The sources detailed two recent studies that really stood out. The first one involves this amazing experiment with this specific humpback whale in Alaska.
Yeah, the conversing experiment, they called it. Basically, scientists on a boat played a recording.
A recording of what?
A humpback contact call. It's like a common sound they use maybe to find each other or just a sort of greeting in their social repertoire.
Okay, so they played this sound
and a whale, one they named Twain, she actually came over to the boat. And she engaged with the sound source for like 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay, that's more than just passing interest.
You're right. And here's the really compelling part, how she responded. Twain replied to that playback 33 times.
33 times. Wow.
But it wasn't just the number. The key thing, the really crucial observation, was that Twain seemed to match the intervals between the calls the scientists played.
Match the intervals? What do you mean, like timing?
Exactly. So if the scientist played the call, then waited, say, 10 seconds and played it again, Twain would wait about 10 seconds before she responded.
Whoa.
If they varied the gap, she varied her response time to match.
So she wasn't just, making noise back. She was timing it based on their input. That feels intentional.
It strongly suggests that, yeah. Intentional engagement, turn-taking even, like a really basic element of conversation. The team thinks this might be the first actual documented human humpback communicative exchange, using their language.
Incredible.
And get this, they suspect she might have even been responding to a recording of her own call from the day before.
Like hearing your own voicemail and answering it.
Yeah.
That's something else. Okay, so that's the sound part. But you mentioned another study, something about bubbles.
Yeah, bubble rings. This was in marine mammal science. Now, humpbacks, they use bubbles all the time, right? We know about bubble nets for catching fish.
Right, corralling prey.
Or bubble trails when males are competing. But these bubble rings, they're different.
How so?
Think big, distinct rings, like smoke rings, but underwater, made of bubbles. And the really surprising thing was when they saw this.
Okay.
Not during hunting or competing. They saw it specifically during, friendly interactions with humans.
Friendly interactions, you mean like when whales choose to approach a boat or swimmers?
Exactly that. These inquisitive, voluntary encounters. The study looked at 12 different times this happened, 39 rings made by 11 individual whales.
Wow.
And here's the kicker. They did drone surveys over the same areas, same whales, when no humans were around. No bubble rings, none.
So this behavior seems directly linked to interacting with us.
Yeah.
What do they think it means? Play. Communication?
It's still early days for understanding it, but yeah, it could be play. Or maybe it's some kind of sophisticated communication signal, something unique to their underwater world that land animals just can't do.
A visual signal, maybe, during these curious moments?
Possibly. It's definitely linked to these voluntary interspecies interactions.
Okay, so we've got potential turn-taking with calls and these unique bubble rings during human encounters. How does this leap from whales in the ocean to SETI and looking for aliens?
Right, that's the core of the Whale SETI project. It's this really cool interdisciplinary team. You've got whale behavior experts like Fred Sharp, marine photographers like Jody Frediani documenting it all, animal intelligence researchers Brenda McCowan and Josephine Hubbard, and then SETI scientists like Lawrence Doyle.
Marine biology meets astrophysics. That's quite a mix. What's the big idea?
The big idea is using complex non-human intelligence here on Earth as a kind of practice run, an analog for searching for ET.
An analog, like studying Antarctica to understand Mars.
Exactly like that. Instead of just guessing what alien intelligence might look like or how it might communicate, we can study a real complex non-human intelligence right here. Whales.
So learn from the aliens among us, so to speak.
Sort of. The goal is to develop better tools, intelligent filters. By trying to figure out whale communication, the patterns, the structure, the possible meanings, they hope to build better algorithms to sift through all that noise from space. Filters that can spot signals that look deliberate, intelligent, based on patterns we see in complex natural communication systems, not just human ones.
And this helps address some basic assumptions in SETI, doesn't it? Like, would aliens even want to talk to us?
It really does. A big assumption is that advanced ETs might be curious, might try to make contact, maybe even target us if they notice our signals.
And the whales.
Yeah.
They show that kind of curiosity towards us.
Well, think about Twain engaging for 20 minutes, or the whales making bubble rings only when humans are near. It supports the idea that intelligence, even in very different forms, might often come with curiosity, a drive to interact, even across species lines.
So it makes the SETI assumption seem a bit less like pure speculation.
It gives it a little grounding, yeah.
Yeah.
A terrestrial example of intelligent creatures seemingly motivated to interact.
And it also helps us think beyond just human-like intelligence.
Absolutely crucial. Aliens, if they exist, probably won't be like us. Studying whales, their underwater acoustic world, maybe visual bubble signals, their different way of processing things, it just expands our definition of what intelligence is, what communication can be.
Makes us better prepared to recognize something truly alien if we ever detect it.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, let's connect this to the big equation, the Drake equation.
Yeah.
How does whale SETI fit into that framework?
Right, the Drake equation. Frank Drake, 1961. It's not really meant to give a precise number, it's more like a way to organize our ignorance.
Okay. A roadmap for what we need to figure out.
Exactly. It multiplies several factors together to estimate n, the number of civilizations in our galaxy we could potentially communicate with.
And those factors are things like star formation rate,
Yeah.
planets per star,
Fraction of planets that could support life, fraction that do get life, fraction where life becomes intelligent, fraction of those that develop communication we could detect, and finally, how long those civilizations stick around communicating. That's L.
And the problem is, some of those factors, especially the life and intelligence ones, are huge unknowns.
Massive unknowns.
Sure.
Especially finding the fraction where intelligence arises, and FEC, the fraction that communicate, and L, the lifetime. That's why the final number N can range from, basically 0 to millions. It depends entirely on what you plug in for those guesses.
So where does whale SETI plug in? Which unknown are they tackling?
They're explicitly focused on providing data relevant to factorify that fraction of planets with life that goes on to develop intelligent life.
Okay, the intelligence factor. How does studying whale chat help estimate that number for the whole galaxy?
It's not about calculating a number directly, it's about getting empirical insight. By studying humpbacks, this complex, intelligent species with a totally different evolutionary path living in a totally different environment,
Right.
we learn about how intelligence can arise and manifest on a planet. It gives us a real-world data point, an analog for that phi factor, which otherwise is just based on, us. Human evolution.
So it broadens our perspective on what intelligence developing might even look like.
Exactly. And it also touches on FE, the communication factor.
Yeah.
It explores how complex communication evolves, maybe why a species would try to communicate across barriers, whether it's species barriers here or interstellar ones out there. Curiosity, play, things we see hints of in the whales.
Got it. So it's using whales as a case study to make those speculative Drake factors feel a tiny bit less speculative.
That's a good way to put it. The Drake equation points to the questions. Studying complex non-human intelligence on Earth is one concrete way scientists are trying to find some actual clues to answer them, especially around intelligence and communication.
Okay, so bringing this all together, why should this matter to, someone listening right now, beyond just cool whale facts?
Well, I think it fundamentally changes how we view intelligence itself. It's not just us. It's not just primates with tools. Sophisticated intelligence, complex communication. It's out there in the ocean, in forms we're only just starting to grasp.
It expands our definition of smart.
Definitely. And for SETI, For that search for life elsewhere, it's actually practical. These whale observations, the turn-taking, the interval matching, the bubble rings, they give scientists concrete examples, real-world patterns of non-human communication.
So it helps them know what to look for in signals from space.
Yeah.
Beyond just like prime numbers or something.
Exactly. It helps build better search strategies, better filters tuned to recognize complexity that isn't necessarily human-like. And, it just reminds us how much incredible stuff is happening right here on Earth.
Yeah.
Lessons in our own backyard that might actually be vital for looking outwards.
So here's a thought to leave you with. If humpback whales, living in such a different world, with such different biology, if they've developed these complex ways to communicate, maybe even showing curiosity about us, what truly astonishing, unexpected forms might intelligent communication take light years away?
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? It expands the possibilities, both here and out there.
A truly mind-bending deep dive today, from the ocean depths to deep space, all thanks to some very clever whales.
We hope you found this journey into intelligence and communication as fascinating as we did. You can find more explorations like this on Le Podcast de Philippe.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed digging into all this, please do think about subscribing. It genuinely helps us keep these deep dives going and helps us get closer to that 1,000 subscriber goal.